There's no debating the fact that the NFL is in a state where it really hasn't been before, and really for the first time since he took over as commissioner, Roger Goodell is being challenged. There was a poll that went out about a week ago asking what fans thought about concussions and what fans thought about domestic violence in the league. But the most surprising thing was the fact that about 50% of people said that Goodell should resign, while the other 50% said that he should not resign and he should be allowed to continue on as commissioner. I still don't believe he should resign, but in the state that the NFL is in now, Roger Goodell has not been seen or heard from and has not made any sort of public statement in over a week. In a time such as this, when you've got players being suspended for, the Ray Rice investigation, he was suspended indefinitely and is now filing an appeal. You've got the Adrian Peterson situation where he has been deactivated. Greg Hardy has been deactivated. Both have been placed on the exempt list. You've got Jonathan Dwyer, who just yesterday was placed on the exempt list for another domestic violence incident. So you've got all these things that are going on in the NFL, and the commissioner, the leader, the face of the entire billion-dollar industry is nowhere to be found. He has not said a word. So if you can't trust your leader to lead and be that guy in a time such as this, why is he your leader? You look at times when a organization is in trouble. Let's say America is in trouble. Who do you look to hear from? You look to the President of the United States. When you hear that a team is in trouble, who do you look to hear from? You look to hear from the team captain. Well, Roger Goodell is the quote-unquote team captain of the NFL. He's the one that has all the power. He's the one that gave himself that power. And now it's up to him to use that power correctly. However, going dark in a time like this really brings into question somebody's leadership ability. Jason Whitlock yesterday of ESPN was bringing up the fact that if he can't be trusted now, when can he be trusted? If you can't lead your troops, lead your people in a time when they are in a place where they've never really been before in terms of all these off the field incidents, then why should you be leader when things go well? People are really beginning to question Roger Goodell and the type of league that he is running. He has not really come out and set a firm statement or set any sort of ground for what these teams should be doing, but rather still sitting behind due process. And yes, due process is great. Everybody should be afforded due process. But in times such as these, the teams have made the right move by deactivating. However, that's really only because of the sponsors. Let's be honest. When the sponsors start talking, then the teams will start listening. When the Radisson hotel chain reached out to the Vikings and said, hey, we don't like what you're doing, we're pulling ourselves out of our sponsorship with you. When Anheuser-Busch said something, then the whole entire league started to listen. So it's up to Goodell to really come out and say, hey, here's where we are, we were going to stick together, or whatever he wants to say. Roger Goodell has to come out and say something, and he can't just mail it in through some sort of statement online or through an email to some ESPN insider. He has to come out, give a press conference, be seen publicly, and make a statement about where the NFL is. Otherwise, he should not be the leader. He should not be the commissioner of the NFL. And with all this question surrounding him in general, it's hard to imagine a scenario where he stays on as the commissioner for another year and a half. The NFL is in a state where it's never been before with player conduct. You've got a new drug agreement in place, which takes away a lot of the power from Roger Goodell to discipline in these cases of PEDs and things like that. So this very well could be the beginning of the end for Roger Goodell. And where the NFL goes from here, and when he makes his public appearance during all of these trials and tribulations, will be a big step toward determining what his future is and the future of the quote-unquote shield of the NFL that he strives, or at least says that he strives to protect.